Take it away, Saipriya. Sairam.
So is Natasha going first or I?
I think you're going first, and then Natasha.
Okay. All right. So, Sairam, everyone. It's such an honor to be here, especially amongst my favorite people here in amongst Austin Sci Center and in the region. So I'm here to share my personal sharings about Swami and my journey into Sai. First of all, when Sri Ram approached me saying that uh, we are going to create a poster about about someone who is sharing their experiences about Swami to everyone. So I always love when Anjali Akka sings "My Sayanai, My Sayanai." So that word was always stuck in my mind, and I happened to write it on the poster. And Sriram creatively he told like we'll have to create a poster with the heart of clouds and Swami entering into the clouds. So and it was really a beautiful journey of how that poster came up, and it's one of my favorite posters which we all created together. That being said, I thought I'm more like a visual person, so I will share my presentation, but I'll talk through what exactly I feel about each of these. Uh, Let me share my screen. I hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, awesome. First of all, thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I'm here to share about my journey. And most importantly, I thought we all are sharing our journeys. But I told Sriram, there is nothing very special about my journey. So let me talk about my mama's journey. So most of you might know that my parents have always been into Swami's fold, and that's how I got into Swami. And his learnings it has been a part of my family, and everyone is so devoted to Swami. My mom especially, who is my biggest inspiration, biggest support, she was a Balavikas guru. So she used to walk all the way to the village and then teach Balavikas to the students, and she used to also teach tuitions to the students. So, and also my mom's own brother, he has been a convener for about 40 years in Chromepit Sai Center. Because of that, because of him, that's how like we all know about Swami, especially how Swami gives importance to the service, about selfless service within the community. So let me talk about how my mamaya, that is my mom's own brother, got into had the idea of starting an old age home under the name of Swami. So my mama was just traveling in a train, and then he was sitting there, and he saw a little boy. And the boy came up to him, and then he looked sad, and he didn't eat anything. So my mama told, "Do you want to eat something?" Then he refused. "No, I don't want anything." And then he asked, "How's your mom? Where is your mom?" Then he said, like, my mom passed away." So after he told mom passed away, he said, "Can I help you in any way? What does your father do?" He said, "Father is a drunkard. He drinks all the time." So, but then like he did not take any help from my mama. So what my mama did, like he that was there in his, that was stuck in his head for a longest time. So what he has done is he just went back and he kept thinking about the incident which happened in the train. So while he was thinking about it, in his dream, he saw as if he was constructing huge buildings all over the place, and and he woke up and he didn't realize like what exactly this dream is. He didn't understand. And after a few days, he had Swami in his dreams, and assuring him that he will have something to do. And he kept his hand on his forehead. He blessed my mama. And the same day, you won't believe that there was someone who came up to my mama, and she asked for help, saying that, can you please take me to the hospital? So my mama, like he's very helpful. So he immediately admitted her into the hospital, and then taking care of her and everything. Then she requested my mama, saying, would you be able to start off an old age home? So can you please start a old age home? So then my mama said, okay, now I relate to the dots. So this is exactly what Swami wants from me. That's how he started the old age home. So he is a very normal government employee. We are a very normal, like below middle class family. And starting an old age home, it requires a lot of money, a lot of investment and all of that. But somehow, like when you think something good, that you want to do something good for the society under the name of Swami, Swami will show you different ways to get there. So that's exactly what happened. So without much investment, so there were some people who came for donation. Can I donate this? Can I donate that? And all of that. And some people even offered their land so that they can set up the old age home there. And there was like one old lady who came to him and said that, I don't have anyone. Literally I'm away from my, I don't have financial support, I do not have any kind of help. So I don't know what to do. And that's when like she is the first person to join the old age home. And from then on, 40 years he has been doing selfless service. He now has entire like mother, he has many mothers, many fathers who has been blessing him for 40 years. So which is something which gives me goosebumps to think about how much he has been doing it for the society without much help, without much financial support, without a website. Like imagine donations overflowing without a website. So it just kept happening, and everything is because of Swami. And now there is a vocational training program. There is also a Sai specialty hospital. It is like mini Parthi. As you can see here in the screen which I'm sharing, the leftmost person, she's there for almost more than decades. And you see that there are being food being served every day. They eat better food than all of us. They have cataract surgery. You can see that there is a medical camp which is being set up. You see that there are beds, like 50 beds in the same place, and they sing bhajans together. So he has been my soul and soul inspiration for being a part of the Sai Center, and my dream is to be a part of the YA and then help with the Seva activities. So you see that this is the beautiful mandir which is there on the right side, right in the middle of the old age home. And on the left side, there is an old age home. That's how beautiful it looks from the outside. So the service activity has been happening for the longest time. But one such incident which happened very recently, I shared it with Sriram, but I thought I will share it with everyone else. So we all think that Swami is very far away from us. We don't see him in his physical form. But then one incident which happened was, there was like someone, the state priest. So he came up to my mama saying that, can I do a homam in your temple? So my mama said, yeah, of course you can do the homam in our temple. So that's how like he came, and then he started doing the homam. So after the homam is complete, homam in the sense like it's a ritual which happens like so to purify the space around. So the priest has done that that homam in that place, in the temple. And after that, like he was, as usual, he carried a kalasham. Kalasham is like the sacred vessel where you purify the water. You just put the water throughout the place to purify the place. So for some reason, like he was holding the kalasham here on his shoulder, and it kept getting heavier, heavier, heavier. And there was a sound like tung, tung, tung sound, and it was getting heavier. And they were not understanding what sound is this? Why is this getting heavier? Then he took it out. The priest took it out, and he actually my auntie itself, she came and she filled the water and she gave it, and then that's the water he was using to purify the place. And then he removed the kalasham, and then my mama came and he saw, what is there? There is something sparkling inside. There was some blue color sparkle from inside. And then he took out the something which is there inside the kalasham, and it turned out to be this Patika lingam. So it was sparkling. The water was so cold, like it was very cold, and he was holding it, and he could feel there is some vibrations from that Patika lingam. And that lingam got automatically formed within the kalasham. So I feel like you can experience Swami if you have done everything for others, not for yourself. If you have done everything possible in his divine mission, you can experience Swami. And that was like because it was my mama, it was completely believable, because this is a story which happened before our eyes. So moving on, so this is all about my family, and they keep talking about all of this, and I'm very used to listening to miracles of Swami, and how Swami used to be so fun loving and all of that in Parthi and stuff. So from childhood, I was a fat baby. Like that's why my mom asked me to join dance. So I love dancing. So even though like unofficially I danced in NGM and in a children's festival, but officially after I started learning dance, my first ever dance performance was in Shivam. So after dancing in Shivam, and I was a part of Balavikas as well. I was not a very regular student, like because I'm very used to bhajans and all of that. I knew most of it. And then like Balavikas, my mom, my dad were very ambitious. So they joined me into dancing. I was learning music. I was going to tuitions, Hindi tuitions. And I was going to Balavikas. And on top of it, my mom asked me to join even meditation class for some reason. So I joined the meditation class and all of that, but Balavikas was a part of my schedule. And then I happened to go to Balavikas, and we had an opportunity to perform in front of Swami. So 6 consecutive years, we had an opportunity to even book the tickets to go to Parthi, but every time it got cancelled. So each time we practiced, we danced and everything, and every time it got cancelled. But in my 8th grade, that is in 2004, I actually happened to book the bus tickets, and then I happened to go to Parthi. So my parents and everyone said, like, you can't enter inside Parthi unless Swami wills for you. So that's when like I felt like, oh, this is Swami's willing. So that's how I gotten, and I actually performed in front of Swami. And I happened to choreograph for the little kids along with me. And then we danced in front of Swami. And then I saw Swami at a close proximity, but I did not get a chance to have an eye-to-eye contact with him. So my mom said, like, this is the best thing, which I don't think you'll get an opportunity again. So just make the most of it. Just be like, show the bhakti from yourself to Swami. And then like I was doing a side character, like I was just pouring water, and then there is a Rishi who's walking inside, and then we are just welcoming all the Rishis and stuff as a part of the drama. And then like I turned on the right side, and Swami was already looking at me. So then I got a little scared. Like I remembered that look, which then I immediately turned. I wish I could have seen him for more time, but it was a magical moment. I really, like, I think I would treasure that. I'll capture that moment always, and I'll treasure it in my entire life. I had faith in Swami, and like I didn't have any question in my mind, oh, is he a god or anything? It was like obvious that my family entirely and myself, I just like blindly believed that Swami is the one, Swami is the god. I felt very connected to him. And then I'll talk about my job interview. So it was my I gave a lot of interviews and stuff in as a part of campus recruitment, and I happened to attend MAQ software as my job interview. And then I thoroughly prepared for a Java developer position, but then it happened to be a systems engineer networking positions. I was like completely, I prepared something else, but it happened to be something else. Network is not something which I really like while I was studying, but because it was an interview, and I thoroughly prepared so much for the interview, then I thought like I'll give it a shot. Like, at least let me put a logical guess. I had to choose the correct answer kind of a sheet, and everything I put, like it happened to be that it is correct. And it happens so that like amongst 400 students, I got the topmost score. Then I'm like, oh no, I cleared this round. So what will I do for the next round? Then I went to the next round. Then I was a part of group discussion. And whatever I prepared the day before, the same question they asked, and I was able to do it very nicely. Then I went to the in-person face-to-face interview. Then I thought, Swami, you are here to insult me. Like literally, I'm going to go to this interview without any idea. There are people who are CCNA certified. I have no clue. But Swami, please take care, is what I've said. Then really, any question they were asking me, it was something which we have discussed right before the interview or the day before. Something like whatever question he was asking, there was some prompting from within, and I was able to answer all of those questions. And happened to be that I was the only one who cracked that interview. So I cannot believe like how did that even happen. And I continued with that job for 3 years, and that gave me a motivation to move to the US as well. So that is one such incident which I felt the presence of Swami. When you have given everything possible, when you have surrendered, Swami, please take care. Please don't get me insulted in front of others. So that's when like I really felt Swami was there with me. After moving to US, I missed like bhajans and all of that which was happening in my house. I was very far away from family. And then I moved to Austin. So after moving to Austin, I was, I didn't know, like, I still felt that disconnect. Why am I not singing bhajans? Why are we not celebrating festivals? Why are we like so disconnected from our cultural values, our moral values? Then I started, I just came by Guadalupe Street and I saw Sarvadharma symbol there. I was so thrilled to see Sarvadharma symbol there. That is like, then I started looking up for Sai Center. Then I found that we have a Sai Center in Austin. Then I took 2 buses because I didn't have a car. I took 2 buses to come to the Sai Center. And I found that there is no Sai Center, like because for some reason I reached on November 24th. That was next day of Swami's birthday. And there was nobody there because they were already, for some reason, I believe the Sai Center is closed on that day. So I called my mom very disappointed. Then she again told like, why don't you try once again? So when I came back again, once again, I was thrilled to see so many people, Paramam Pavitram in English, and all of this. Like it was so, I had the instant connect with the Swami and instant connect with the people. Kiranmai, Didi, and Sriram, everyone were so nice. The kids were so loving. I really felt so connected to Swami and the people around in Austin. So I started coming to the center. I started going to the service activities, and it kept happening. So one day, like I bought a cute Ganesha for Ganesh Chaturthi. That is the first time I'm celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi in the US. So I bought like in center they gave me some flowers, so I put the flowers behind the Ganesha. It looked so pretty. So then I thought like, okay, let me invite people home. Then I called everyone. Like I think Sriram, you remember, you all came to my house for a bhajan, and we really had so much fun. And it happened to be that I invited 23 folks to my house, and without having much knowledge of how to cook for so many people. So I thought, okay, fine. Easiest is to make lemon rice and daddojanam. So I made lemon rice. And it turned out to be, after having the prasadam, I thought like, oh, this tastes really good. Like, how did I even make? I didn't even taste it, but we just fed it, kept in front of Swami, and it turned out to be so good. Then again, after a few days, I had a dream of Swami entering into the house, sitting on the uh, sitting on the floor and mixing that lemon rice for all of us. So that that incident was like, I was still thinking like, how did I make that lemon rice? Then it turned out to be that Swami himself was mixing the lemon rice with the rice. So that was like, even though it is very small, but it was very magical for me. Uh, so then I kept going. Then I happened to even join the media team, and I didn't know anything about how to create posters or anything. I didn't know any Photoshop, but it was just Swami who taught me. Like I also felt like once Suresh Govind Garu mentioned in the ZYF festival, saying that you even a street dog can become a street light in presence of Swami. So I felt the same when I joined media team. I didn't know anything, but everything I've learned, Swami taught me a skill of creating videos or creating these posters. It is all with Swami's presence and Swami in my life. Uh, so I thought like I'll share one more incident and then I'll close out. I'll pass it on to Natasha. So while I was singing bhajan, so I practiced like we usually sign up for bhajans during the Sunday program. Uh, so I thought like, let me sign up. I like this bhajan called Janani Janani Satya Sai Shubha Janani. And you won't believe that I blanked out while I was singing the bhajan. The second line which I remembered was, after Janani song, I remembered Jagatpate. Jagatpate Hari Sai Gopala. I didn't know why I was creating this medley in my head while I was singing the bhajan in front of everyone, in front of Swami. Then I blanked out. I stopped singing. So then I felt very bad. Then I told then Natasha and Harsha. So they mentioned that whatever it turns out to be, it is all Swami's will. Even if you sing bad or even if you sing really well, it is all Swami's will. So just leave it to him. That is how he wanted you guys to listen, wanted to listen. But Harsha also mentioned that when you sing a bhajan, first 25 times you do it, all your attention will be on the notes and beats. Practicing it 25 times frees you from that. And next 25 times you practice, you sing confidently, but you have to work on developing the bhava or the feeling. At the end of 75 times of practice, your singing will be effortless. As you sing, you will see your beloved Lord in your mind's eye. After 25 times of practice, when you sing, not only you but everyone in the audience will also be able to see the Lord in the mind's eye. So when she told me this, then I thought, okay, fine. Next time when I'm singing the bhajan, I'm going to practice it for 100 times, more than 100 times. So while I was showering, while I was doing everything, I was singing the bhajan. So the bhajan which I chose was Chita Chora Yashoda Ke Bal. So that is my favorite bhajan, and I love Chitra Garu singing the bhajan and Swami giving the sari to her, and all that visual is like really nice. So I practiced that bhajan so many times and I sang, and it turned out to be nice. But after a few days, I had a dream of Swami listening to my bhajan. I was sitting in the parti, sitting in the front row, singing bhajan to Swami. And Swami called me and he gave me a yellow flower and he said, "Enta baga padavamma." So "Enta baga padavamma" is how you sang really well, child, is what Swami said. So then I woke up with so much happiness. Just wanted to say the reason why I told the story is that this story is very personal to me. I haven't shared it with many people. But when you do something which Swami says, Swami will adore you. He will come to you 100 steps and then be there for you. So just keep what Swami says in your mind and then follow it blindly. So I wanted to say that uh, Swami fold is like an institution of self-transformation. So you will get hit really hard. You will be stabbed to death. You will have go through so much pain, but you will feel the presence of Swami after you surrender entirely to Swami. So we Satya Sai is a doer. We should never forget that Swami has been doing everything for us. He has been the doer. You are getting every credit. Oh, you have done this well. Oh, you have done this well. It is all Swami who's doing it from through us. We are all mere puppets. We are all instrument of Swami. Sairam.
Hey, Sairam, Saipriya. You've taken us through a beautiful journey. And, I think one thing that, extraneous to what you've just talked about, I'll certainly circle back to all that you've mentioned. But one thing that I've genuinely admired and adore about you is your willingness to really sacrifice your time. Swami says the biggest gift is one's time, and that's the gift you can give to anyone. And the amount of time that you devote to Sai activities, I must say, fills me with the greatest joy as well as inspires me. You are truly Sai Kepriya, and we are very proud to have you. That much I can say genuinely from the bottom of my heart. Very, very, very proud. But having said that, you said something very interesting. You said Swami, in the institution, sometimes you will feel like you're stabbed. That was a strong statement. So I'm just curious, when have you felt that sort of feeling, and how has Swami, made his presence felt in that sort of a situation? It'll be interesting if you could share something towards that end, because I wanted to understand where you came up with that statement and what was behind it.
Yeah, sure. Uh, Especially when you're getting closer and closer to Swami, he tests you so much. Like he tests you at every point in time. Like you thought that you are doing. Oh, it's just me who is doing. So he makes sure that he's conveying that message very clearly. So one of the incident I think all of you might be knowing is, I think Sriram might be able to relate most, because we happened to start off this uh, the Zoom session where we created video and all of that. And then after creating the video, we didn't even check once, but then we happened to play it. So it happened to be that there was some Teams issue, and there were 60 people who have been waiting to do the meditation. And we couldn't even start the video because there was some technical issue. Sriram was very confident that Saipriya will be able to handle it, but Saipriya doesn't know how to handle it. But somehow he managed really well, and then it turned out. So I just wanted to say that any task which you do, especially for Swami, just make sure that you're doing it 100%. Whenever I'm creating any video also, it never gets approved if I don't do it wholeheartedly. Whenever I do something with wholeheartedly, with a lot of love, whether it can be poster, whether it can be video, that's when it gets approved. Otherwise, it will keep coming back to me saying, make this change, make that change. But it is all a learning experience. It is all, Swami sees the effort. Like we all see the end product, but Swami looks at the effort. And if he is looking at the effort, then I have to do my best, is what I feel.
Thank you, Didi. It was very true. And we know whoever's name we saying he will do it, he will do it, is nobody will do it. Is Baba will do it, everything. Somehow he will do it. Whatever you have problem, he will do it.
Yes, he is doing it, but we get
Yes.
all the for some reason, but he is only the one who's doing it.
Yes.
Sairam.
Thank you. Sairam.
Any questions for Saipriya from any of you?
Saidam, I would like to say a couple of things about Saipriya. In 2019, when I conducted this Sai Baba play, and Saipriya was acting the role of Ishwarama. It
No,
was
it was
such
Natasha.
a great pleasure and joy to work with Saipriya. Never, even for a single second, have I ever seen in her anything like, impatientness or anything. She was always, first of all, very professional, coming to every rehearsal, doing things the way we wanted. And then she was always like a kind of like a peacemaker. A lot of times we had issues that how we can keep everybody put together and everything. But Saipriya, I truly, truly enjoyed, and I cannot think of anyone better than you to play that role. It was just utter joyful experience to work with you. May Swami always blesses you the way he is. Sairam.
Sairam Manishati. Yeah, I was actually Swami's grandmom. Not mom was Natasha who was going to speak, but it was such a pleasure working with you. You have done everything possible. You went above and beyond to teach us. Having zero acting skills, you made us do something on the stage. But yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And anybody
But
else?
if I knew that you know the dancing, I probably would have given you a different role.
Anybody else has any other questions or comments? One thing I wanted to ask you, in case someone else has a question or a comment, feel free to chime in. One thing that I wanted to ask you, right? So you've been born into a Sai family, and you have this huge luminary and a tall example in your mama.
Yeah.
And his story, I've had the chance to hear it from the horse's mouth from him, and parlaying it and stuff. It's an incredible story. There's so much of detail to that story. And so, having been brought up in a Sai fold, and you've constantly mentioned that you've found an instant connect with Bhagwan, and you've always traversed in it. Have there been any moments in your journey wherein you've that faith or that conviction has taken a slight jolt or a hit? And if so, can you recount how you went through that sort of a phase?
Yeah. So actually, like, mind is a mad monkey. So obviously, I'm not the most perfect example of Swami's devotee, but I really I always had this connect for Swami. I can't explain the reason why I do have the connect, but I just have it. But like there were some point during this recent times when you go through so much, it could be personal life or anything. Swami tests you, that Swami is testing you. But it happened to be that I always got more Swami's work. Whenever I was going through more stress, I was having more Swami's work. So that Swami's work brought me a lot of peace, which the peace which we experience while doing Swami's work, I don't think anybody else would have experienced it unless you do it. It is one such things which give you a lot of self-satisfaction, and that self-satisfaction can't be explained. It is just to be experienced.
Mm. Thank you, Saipriya. Anybody else?
I just wanted to say, Brother Sriram, that Saipriya is so inspirational, in every way. She's such an inspiration in everything that she says and she does. I think for about a little over a year that I've been with the Austin Sai Center, that too also remotely. She has been such an influence in all these lessons that she's saying, dedicate everything to Swami, everything that you do every second of every day. I remember she made that point. I mean, she said so many very, relatable things. And I don't know if she knows the way it affects others, right? In other words, she says things, even today, she said things that really moved me in a very personal way because of the resonances that she struck. So she truly is Swami's instrument, I would say. So thank you for sharing, Saipriya. Thank you so much.
Very sweet. You have been always an inspiration. We haven't met, but then it is really nice listening to you through any.
Can I ask one quick question, Saipriya?
Yeah, sure.
In spite of your family being so intimately involved in Swami's work and the old homage and everything in India, and you are so much connected to all those things, after moving to this country, have you ever thought that I wish I could go back?
Actually, my mama, all his work is what I used to hear. He was in Chennai. I'm from Hyderabad. So I used to just hear, but I never had a chance to really get myself involved. But only when I moved to Austin, which is 7 continents away from India, that's when I was able to get involved myself. So I don't see the place does matter. It is the people who makes it happen, especially the Austin Sai Center. I can't thank, you have been a great influence. Meeting each one of you is such a pleasure in its own way. I admire each one of them who I'm talking to each day.
Can I tell you, Auntie, something? You asked question. Yes, I will always want to go back to India, my house. I don't know. I have that feeling, and I haven't changed my passport also. It's Indian passport. I live in San Antonio, American. Everybody asks me, do it. But I am not doing it. I still have Indian passport.
Yeah.
So that's what I was telling you, Auntie. Thank you.
Thank you, Saipriya. It's always a joy, and I believe you're more of a doer than a talker, having known you, and what you've done speaks volumes, and it shows when elders who are out here on the call, with all their heart bless you, and as well as connect with you in a special manner. So we are very lucky, as I said, and long may you continue to blaze the trails in Austin and lead us. For we are lucky to have people like you. Well, if you're lucky,
need to. We need you.
Thank you, Sister Geetu.
Thank you so much.
If you are a tall example, the one who follows you is no less. And I'm excited. So, Natasha, feel free to take it away.
Yes. I just want to start by saying there's no such thing as a coincidence. It's always a Sai incidence. And as I say that, there's 3 already that I can name off the bat, and hopefully one will come with my story. But 2 of them, one is that I got to share the platform today with who I call my Sai soul sister, Saipriya. And the second one, today's date is 9/30/2022. If you add everything up, it adds to 9. So I just feel Swami's presence off the bat, just knowing that I've got the opportunity to speak on such a divine day. With that being said, I just wanted to start off my story. And I think a lot of people might not know that I'm not born in the Sai fold, because usually sometimes people ask me, where are your parents in some of these retreats and whatnot? And I'm just like, they're not in the Sai fold. So I guess I'll start with my story. So I was born actually in New Jersey. My parents were first time in the United States. And essentially they weren't well off. There were days that they were living in people's basements. And I, as a little kid, was very much aware that we were not well off, especially when I was left with, other Indian families to be taken care of, because my parents had to go, both of them had to go to work. And it was, I could see the pain, I could see the helplessness. So I always wanted to be that child that wouldn't ask for toys, that would be like, oh, if I don't eat anything, they save money on food. And I think that's where it kind of came from. But so that's where my journey started. And thankfully, my dad actually had he had his mama in Laredo. And since we weren't well off, we decided maybe if we moved to Laredo, our situation would change for the better. One of the main primary reasons of also moving down south was because my dad had slip disc. And so living in New York with those cold weather, it really wasn't feasible for him to stay there. And so we thought we could start our future in a very small, I like to call it a village of Texas on a border, and start fresh. And as we were leaving, somebody gave my dad, because my dad is very spiritual in the way he talks as well, somebody just gave him, like in daan, like, oh, this is whatever. They gave him the VHS sets for the B.R. Chopra's Mahabharat. For them, it was like, we got rid of these VHS cassettes, thank God. For me, that was the best blessing in disguise anybody could have given. Because even though I haven't grown up in the Sai fold, I always tell people, yeah, I went to SSC. My SSC was B.R. Chopra's Mahabharat. That was my SSC class. So for them, it was just, we're getting rid of trash. And that became my treasure. So when we moved to Laredo, I always used to watch the VHS number 2 of that video. And that was just Sai Krishna's Leela. From when, Devki was, put in jail, to how he, killed Putna and all these Rakshasa, and then finally killed Kans and let his parents free. And I would just watch that on rerun when I was a kid. Every time I would come home from school, my mom would always want to feed me. I'm like, leave the food aside, first homework and Mahabharat. And then once the homework was done, I was still watching the Mahabharat, then rewinding it, putting it back to the beginning, and she was feeding me on the side. And then she looked at me, I think this was when I was 6 or 7. She's like, we have the whole set. You need to know what is happening. You don't know the Mahabharat. I understand that you're very connected to Krishna, but there's a much more beautiful, intense story. Watch everything. You're only watching cassette 2. Start from 1, go to the end. And so I listened to my mom and I did that. I started from 1 and I started watching it very religiously till the end. Now, funny story. We didn't have cassette number 8, and the cassette set was 1 through 11, and there's no 8. Funny enough, 8 was the Gita. So I never got to see the Gita ever when I had these VHS sets. I would always skip over the Gita because I didn't have that cassette. Nobody gave it to my dad, so I didn't have it. So now I'm sitting there in my entire life. Now since I'm growing up in Laredo, my mom didn't even have cable TV, and I knew that we weren't well off, and I wasn't even going to ask for it. We eventually got it, but I thought it was such a waste of time. During the time that I'm growing up, VHS is going out of business. We're now into the DVD era, Blu-ray era. Nobody even sells like the VHS player to put the cassette in there. I made my parents buy a super small TV. It's like smaller than the screen of a laptop, and it's like a giant like monitor looking thing, heavy thing. And I asked for that specifically so that I can watch the VHSs every time. And we installed it in my room. I was like, I don't need to watch TV outside. I'll eat your lunch that you want me to eat because I have to eat. But I'll go in my room, do my homework in front of Mahabharat, because that has become my ritual since I was in kindergarten. And that's not going anywhere. So that is pretty much my life. And at the same time, we're Sindhis. So there was a Sindhi family that actually I think when I was like 5, they actually did this when I was 5. They took their house and they cut it in half. And one half, they created a mandir for everybody to come. And on the other half was their home. Now, kids my age don't even know Hindi, let alone Mahabharata type of Hindi, okay? So for them, they don't like coming into the mandir and doing it. They do it because their parents tell them to do it. But that that mandir used to celebrate two big things. One is Navratri, which is very huge in the Sindhi community. And the second one is Shansha Baba's birthday. And they even have a Shansha Baba statue in that mandir. So if I'm walking into the mandir, they split ladies on the right-hand side and gents on the left. I know it's different in Sai Center. And the murtis used to be like this. First it was Ganesh, then Shiva, and right in the center used to be Mataji, because again, we're doing this all for Navratri, so Mataji is in the center. Then there's a Radha Krishan, then there's a Jhulelal, because if we're Sindhis, Jhulelal is also very important. Then a Shansha Baba, then a break in the middle. And the break in the middle was for Gurudwara. And most people don't know this, but Sindhis are very much into Gurudwara more than a temple even. So they made the Gurudwara there. And then there's a Shirdi Sai Murti. And then there's a whole bunch of pictures all over on the other side of the wall where we're sitting of many saints and whatnot. Now, every time Navratri used to come, it's like, yes, we get to go to the mandir. Like, this is it. This is the party of the year. We can't miss it. And I would always make my dad take me. I was like, I am dressed. I am ready. We are going. There is no excuse. I am ready. You have to come from work and you have to take me. I have finished all my homework. I have done all my responsibilities. Everything is done and ready to go. You get ready and you take me. My mom wasn't spiritual. My brother also wasn't spiritual, but because my dad was, I could force him to take me, and he would also come willingly, happily. We would go to Navratri. Navratri and Shansha Baba's birthday was all that they would celebrate. And it used to hurt me that it wasn't a weekly thing, right? I had to wait for Navratri to be able to go to the mandir. It was literally the party of the year. And I used to tell my parents, when the invitation comes, we're not missing a single day. There's no way we're missing a single day. So I used to go for that and, enjoy it thoroughly. And then as I used to go and pray to each murti, most people don't know this about me, but to each murti, I know it's all the same God. People just come and do the Pad Namaskar, okay, move on. They couldn't understand. I was the first one who started in all the murtis to do like the namaskarams and everything. But I was the last person that would exit the mandir to go to the langar room where they're offering the prasadam. And my mom is like, what are you doing? It's just namaskar, move on. Like, I don't understand why you take forever. And I'm like, no, because even though it's one God, he comes in so many forms to teach us so many things. There are so many things you can ask. Why ask for one thing when you can ask for a million things from different versions of that same God and ask for those attributes? So like when I go to Ganesh, they had actually two Ganesh Murtis, a tiny little one next to the Shirdi Sai Murti as well. But in the big Murti, I would say, you are Mahasagar of Gyan. If I even have one boond, one droplet, it is like immense for me. I am asking for that because I want to walk on your path. And like that, I would go to every single God and say something different and ask for guidance or forgiveness or whatever it may be, or love because you're mom, so give me love, anything like that. I would go through each murti and ask something different. And my mom couldn't understand why I was doing that. But a very funny story is in front of the Krishna Murti, Radha Krishna Murti, because I grew up on Mahabharata, it was everything. And I still remember as a little kid, I brought my favorite sharpener and I was like, I'm going to put this in front of the, in front of the Murti because I want to give a present to my favorite God. So I put a sharpener there and people were like, what? And then the owners of the mandir just moved it away. And I was like, oh, no, that was my gift to God, So it was very hard to explain to them. But like that, I used to walk around and I used to even come to the Shirdi Murti. And for me, I always used to say, you are a light that guides. I know my vision isn't very well. I used to wear bifocals and I had my surgery when I was 5 years old too. And so for me, I was like, with my vision, I can do my education better. Like I can see, I can read, I can write, and it's a blessing. So thank you. And I hope that as the years go on, my vision can also improve. But I'm not just asking for this vision. I'm asking for this vision too. Remember that. Help me find my Divya Drishti so that I can feel your presence every day in my life. So this is just my journey, just till high school and, as a little kid and whatnot, growing up in Laredo. Now I get accepted to UT. I'm a freshman. And I am so used to looking at Mahabharat while doing my homework, where there's no VHS, there's no nothing. What do? I found out YouTube has it. So lo and behold, the program starts all over again. We start Mahabharat from the beginning every episode, and we do the homework. And eventually, because it's all on the internet now, I finally got to hear the Gita. And there was this beautiful, beautiful verse. And I had actually recorded it on my cell phone. And I'm so happy that I did, because it got me through my college years. Without that recording, I could not have sat for any exam, ever. I always used to have so much anxiety because I felt like I'm going to such a prestigious school. I'm here to study accounting in the #1 accounting school. I hope that that dream can come true, that I can be a CPA. And literally the one thing that Krishna says that is so beautiful is like, and I'll say it in Hindi and I'll translate it. Kuch to karoge hi, ya to khaoge, ya to nahi khaoge. You have to do something, right? You'll either eat or not eat. Your job is to do some karma. It is impossible that you cannot do it, right? You are a sarvashresht dhanadhar. You're the best archer out there. You can put your arrow on a deer. You have control over your hand, over your vision, over your arrow, but you do not control the deer that you are pointing your arrow against. So do your job, do your karam, aur karam phal ki ichha hi nahi karo. Do your job and don't even worry about what the fruit of that is going to be. But you have control over everything that you do. So when I used to hear that recording before going to an exam, I was like, I did everything I could. I studied you diligently. There was not one thing that I missed. So if this exam doesn't go well, it's because I couldn't control the questions that are on the paper. That's fine. I did what I had to do. I diligently studied for this exam. It's done. So now this is my freshman year. Navratri comes. I know I can't go during the week, but I can go Saturday, Sunday. And I used to travel back to Laredo just to go there. And I did that my fall Navratri. But the thing is, we love to have a party every year with Navratri. So we celebrate Navratri twice, not only the fall Navratri, but the spring Navratri.
Oh.
Spring Navratri 2012. I couldn't go. I had an exam. And I'm crying and crying and crying that I can't go because there's no place for bhajans. Where am I going to get that party of the year where I can just have fun? This is like the equivalent of Gab for everybody in the Sai fold. That's what it was to me. And it's like, you don't even have weekly bhajans. It's Gab or nothing. So for me, it was like, oh my gosh. And I happened to share this to Lakshmi Gopalakrishnan, who's Kala Auntie's daughter. So anybody in Houston, if you don't know, Kala Auntie has a daughter, Lakshmi. I had met her in January of that year. So I met her in my second semester. And she said, there's a Sai Center. Why don't you come? Now, all the way she's explaining, Sai Center is not like a regular mandir, this, that. And I'm not even going to lie. I'm putting it through 1 year and taking it out another because my dad taught me no matter where you go, if there's bhajans, if there's good teachings, then what is a mandir versus not a mandir? And for me, mandir was always what a Sai Center was because that's exactly how the mandir in Laredo was. So I didn't understand why she's explaining all this nonsense and whatever. I just came and I sat there. Loved it. Now, while I loved it, there were some confusions too. The Aarti was confusing. I'm like, Satya Sai Baba is Baba, not God. What is going on? Why is there an empty chair here? So those two things were very confusing, but I loved how we sang every bhajan in multi-language, Hindi, English, Spanish, because the kids in my age, when I used to go for the Navratri there in Laredo, they would all go in the person's home and they would watch Kim Impossible or Kim Possible, whatever that TV show is. I was the only one that was excited to actually sit in the mandir, right? So seeing kids and people my age being able to sing a bhajan with the love and respect was a huge thing because I could never find someone like that even when I was younger. And not only in like Hindi and Sanskrit, Spanish, English, that welcomingness of different languages blew me away. I was like, I don't know why Lakshmi was explaining things. I don't even care. I'm here. I'm going to enjoy my session. And now that I know this thing is there, I'll always come with Lakshmi. Lakshmi is very busy. For people who know her, she's so busy. There were times that she couldn't come. Eventually, I was like, I know the bus I have to take, and I know the bus that I have to take back. So even if no one gives us a ride, it's fine. I have the buses. Then I used to come on my own. And when I was coming to center, people would always talk about, they would always get into their own little groups and be like, remember Nesasi? Remember that Pati Yatra? Remember this? And I'm like, I have nothing to talk about. So I would just sit there in the corner and wait for someone to take us home. Slowly, I was like, why am I wasting my time? Might as well go help. People are cleaning up the center. This used to happen Friday nights. Austin used to be Friday nights. I used to be like, let me just clean, altar. Slowly, I started to get to talk to people. And without Lakshmi, I had created my own group, which included like Harish, because Harish was the YA rep at the time. Rushil was there. And then slowly, eventually later, like we had Maya and Sai Vasam and all these kids join, right? And it became a thing. It became a routine. And I used to just come for bhajans. Eventually, I would say center had changed to Sunday at that point. And I always wanted to come for setup. Now I was like, why am I just doing cleanup? Let me come and set up the whole center. So I used to come set up the center. Sometimes I used to come even earlier when nobody was there and do it on my own. And then I would wait in the foyer. And I used to just wait there, and then study circle would start. And for those of you who haven't seen Austin Center, their foyer area to the main hall is a clear glass. And I used to always peep in during study circle, look at the slides and read them and be so excited. And I don't know which uncle, I don't even know if it was Mahesh Anna or somebody came and they were like, why don't you go inside? I was like, no, this is study circle only for adults. I'm a young adult. And he was like, what? Who even told you that it's just for adults? And like that, I joined study circle. Before I knew it, I was just always in center. It just became a regular part of my life. And then the time came when I graduated undergrad and then later my master's. And I was studying for my CPA exams. And I have to say, that is when I think I was one of the times that I was most connected with Swami, to the point where I could say I'm a Sai devotee. Because in my prayers, when I was going for these CPA exams, most people actually fail and they have to take it multiple times. But every time I left my apartment and took the taxi to the testing center, I would do all my prayers to all my gods, Ganesh, Shiva, and everything. I would take Vibhuti and say the Paramam Pavitram and everything. And at the end, I would say, all I ask is if I'm undeserving, no matter how many times I take this exam, don't let me pass. If I am not deserving of this, don't let me pass. I am just asking for you to be with me as I go and do my duty of taking this exam. I'm not even asking you for you to make me pass, because I don't know if I'm worthy of this CPA license. So I leave it to you. It's your job to figure out if I'm deserving or undeserving. Before I knew it, I passed them all before I even started my job. And I started my job in Houston, and that's where I came into the Houston fold. And where in the Austin fold, it was very hard for me to start singing, because at that time, there was no talam, no sur, no nothing. Madhu auntie and Praful uncle in Houston, Madhu auntie was so encouraging. She was like, if you can't, I understand you're not ready to sing like at a regular center, but in Gab, when everyone's throats were dying, she's like, you have no choice, you have to sing. And slowly, she's the one that got me very comfortable with singing. And when I moved back to Austin, it was natural. Like it was just coming back home and starting that journey all over again. So the third Sai incidence that I mentioned in the beginning is the fact that we are having this session during Navratri. I understand it's fall Navratri and not spring Navratri, but that is the Sai incidence that because of Navratri, I joined the Sai Center. And now on this auspicious occasion of Navratri, I am saying my own story to everybody else.
Wow.
So I really don't think that there's coincidence. It's a divine message. And I think it was perfect to speak at this time to kind of close that loop.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's my story.
Okay.
My dear girl, excuse me, my dear girl, you speak so nicely. It was so nice and it related to me. I am Cindy also.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, you said the same story. What I say. I also want to go for Navratri 9 days. Like I wait for Navaratri to happen, and I go every day there. And every Mata I do prayers. Baba is my Mata. Main thing. And Baba and Mata, everything is same. Everyone is same. There is no difference in all. Every God is mine. I always say they are my God, my Baba, my Mata.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
so
So
that's
that's
similar.
it. It was very nice to hear from you.
Thank you.
At least I think there is Cindy also. I am Cindy. That's the good thing I heard, and I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beta.
Thank you, sister, for even being on for today's My Sai and I session. Thank you. You know, I don't know where to begin, Natasha, in the sense that I'm a fan, and you know, I thoroughly enjoy you, the person that you are. And you know, it's very interesting that even as a very young child, you mentioned like how you would skip a meal because your parents were not that well off. You were that sensitive a child even from a very young age. And I think that's a strength as well, that you're very sensitive as a person. Now, as a result of being that intrinsically sensitive, I think it's also helped you perceive things that the average kid or average Joe wouldn't perceive, to help you connect. I think that's been a strength. But I also believe that it can also be a double-edged sword, in the sense that, you know, if you're very sensitive, it's also easy to get hurt, right?
Yes.
And therefore,
Yes, very much.
and therefore, you do, at times when your sensitivity has been a bane rather than a boon, how has Swami played a role in helping you tide over those feelings?
So initially, it used to be, I guess, anxiety around school. And so initially, to kind of break that barrier, when I first started joining Center, um, I don't know if most people know the picture that's up in the Austin Sai Center, but this picture is very frequently used in most altars. And I call it the Mona Lisa of Swami's photos, because you can see half a smile and half a sternness. It's just a weird experience. And the days that I needed that sternness and I would come to Center and see that photo, I could see Swami saying, "You know what you did. I am here giving you Ashirvadam, but you know, right? So let's work on it." And then I would see some days where he's like, "You did great, Bacha, like it's great," you know, like it was very weird. So initially, my insecurities or my sensitivities were around school. And so having that, you know, every Sunday coming to Center and getting that guidance was very easy. In the recent past, a lot of my insensitivities and insecurities, nervousness, and all of that is around more emotional things and relationships than it has been about like success, career, school, or anything of that nature. And so it's a little hard, because I always tell people my IQ may be high, but my EQ needs a lot of work. And it has been tough. And I won't say that my faith has been 100% there. And in the recent past, it isn't there. But I think, like Saipriya said, we get those tests in our life so that we can learn to increase our faith, to be able to say, whatever it is, it's for the best. And I'm trying to, what I applied for my CPA exam, where I was able to tell Swami, if it's not for me, I don't want it. It's a little harder to do that with relationships, family, friends. And so, because there's a lot more emotion, I think, in those situations than when it comes to careers and success and whatnot. And so it has been hard for me to say that out loud and to actually believe it. So when you ask me, how is it right now? Not so good. But that's perfect. That's perfectly fine, because a journey cannot always be straight or always going up. There's ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. And so right now, it's trying to get myself to believe the words, and more than believing, accepting the words as they come out of my mouth, that what is happening to me is for the best. Even if I'm, being sad about something or attached to something, I have to be able to now believe it. And I don't know why it's easy to believe it when it comes with like school and career and job, and why it's so hard to believe the same thing when it comes to losing friends, family, and things of that nature. But I guess it's a journey, right? Like now I've conquered my anxieties around how I perform as professionally, right? Like in school or in my job. Now it's about conquering the difficulties that come with relationships, family, friends. So I'm not going to say that, oh, I have this fast scale thing and I have this 100% faith in Swami. No, it's being tested. And that is truly, I'm being honest, right? And I think a lot of times it's very hard for us as Sai devotees to say, yeah, I'm going through some stuff. And yes, my faith is being tested. And right now I'm not 100% with Swami, but it's a journey. And I know that eventually that will come back. He's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. It's just a matter of the situation to go and then be like, okay, now let's have that honest one-on-one conversation, Swami. I'm ready for you now in a way that I can accept everything you're about to say, right? Like if I force things down your throat and you don't want to listen, you're not going to listen, right? And so I'm at that phase where I think I'm not ready to accept and listen, but I know I will be. I just need it to just, and once it's like, then I'll be like, let's talk, Swami. And so right now it's hard, but I think when it was about school, it was just looking at Swami's photo during that altar setup, and he was so good with that Mona Lisa thing. I was like, man, I'm channeling that. I'm channeling this picture so much. And I've never been to Parthi. So for those people that say, oh, you can't connect because you haven't seen him live or you haven't walked into the ashram, I'm like, yes, there is a beauty in walking into that ashram. Yes, there's a beauty to see him physically. But I think I have a much more powerful base because it doesn't depend on a physical form or the location. Just like Saipriya said, location doesn't matter. So relying on that base of no location, no physical appearance is more like relying on the fact that he's in here. You just have to tap in. Everything is within. And as I say it, I feel like I'm lecturing myself because right now I'm the one who isn't believing that it's within, and I have to learn how to tap in. And like I said, he's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. We'll find that time to sit down and be like, okay. And it doesn't even have to be in front of Swami's photo. It's going to be here. It's going to be like, okay, Swami, I know you're in here. Let's have a one-on-one in my brain,
right?
Not photo to me. So
absolutely. Manishanti has her hands up. Manishanti.
Yes, Natasha, it has always been a pleasure interacting with you. Every time we worked with you, whether it is in play or anywhere, you gave 110%. Your emotion is something that we capitalized on in our play. Without even hesitating, when I wanted you to cry, you showed in that scene how easily you can cry. But I'm saying from experience, it's all your connection with Bhagavan Baba and all the gods that you believed in and still believe in. Someone of your age, having that connection with the divinity is a tremendous thing I think even we can learn from. It's truly our pleasure to have you in our center, Natasha. Please stay the way you are. I think everyone can tap your energy of this connection with God. May Swami bless you, Sairam.
thank you so much, Auntie.
Thank you so much. She is a phenomenal actress. I'll give her that. Phenomenal. But one thing I wanted to ask you, right? So it's very interesting. You missed the Gita of Mahabharata, but you may have heard it through Krishna on YouTube. But what is Sai's Gita for you in your life? What have you come to understand in one sense through the ups and downs? Because it seems like the manual for life, which Swami says is Gita, is not readily handed to you in a book version, but through experiences, it seems.
Yeah.
So, so what, what have you understood, and what are your nuggets or takeaways in that sense of the term?
I think the biggest takeaway that I have gotten is exactly what's in that clip that I had to listen through. The Gita is magnificent, but the fact that I only chose 4 minutes to keep on my phone as a reminder, it's no, again, there's no such thing as coincidence. That is the thing that I needed to listen to. That is the one sentence that I need to take away and apply. Like I said, there's so many pearls, but if you can at least follow one, wow. Like, you don't need anything else. In terms of how Swami has kind of played a role in reinforcing that idea, is if I didn't have the Sai Center, where would I be today? And that's a very tough question to answer. But having those weekly bhajans, having those seva activities, having Gab, having, being in Manisha Auntie's play, writing a play, I think I wrote the one in 2018, like, it gave a sense of purpose, but more than a sense of purpose, it allows us to share and feel the words of the Gita without actually having to go open the book or even get on YouTube. And I think that's the important role that has played. Being able to, like again, I said, I didn't know who Satya Sai Baba was. I didn't even know that he was supposedly an incarnation of Shirdi Sai Baba. But being able to go to center and in that photo, to see, okay, someone's talking to me, and I didn't know what Swami's voice sounded like. So when I closed my eyes and I saw that Mona Lisa photo, I was in my head, I was playing B.R. Chopra's Mahabharat, where, Krishna says to Arjun, "Ye mat bhulo Parth कि मैं तुम में हूं और तुम मुझ में." I didn't hear Swami's voice, and it wasn't even Swami's voice playing in my head. But the fact of the matter is to look at that photo and to remember those sentences from B.R. Chopra's Mahabharat, I think it explains so much more. Like, I can't put it in other words, but all of these experiences are making up that Gita. So I don't actually have to open the book. It's like you said, it's experiences that are hitting me and proving that again and again.
It's befitting that you kind of came up with that workshop, emotion to devotion. It's interesting. Like, I think you have so much of both. Having known you, and it's amazing that we are very lucky to have both of you, both you and Saipriya. I think we're tremendously lucky. Like I said, I'm a big fan of both of you, and as well as fan for a reason, in the sense that these are the kind of tall YA examples that you two are, along with so many others, like the last month's session. We're blessed to listen to both of you as well. If anyone has any final thoughts, I know I always make a mistake of keeping it an hour when I know it's an hour 15, but if anyone has any final thoughts, Sairam, feel free to.
Sairam, can you hear me? Sairam, Sriram?
Sairam, Shamankal.
Hey. So Sairam, Natasha, I thank you for sharing so beautifully. And I apologize to Saipriya, I could not join earlier. I apologize. I joined even midway through what Natasha was sharing, but I guess I got what I needed to. So I was just fortunate to get whatever I was destined to get from the session. And I think I really enjoyed the way you shared those different experiences of yours and how you could not do your homework without the, Mahabharata and everything. And I think towards the end, you mentioned that how you heard some of the words, like, that you are in me and I am in you, yes, of Lord Krishna. And I think to Sriram's question, what did you learn the whole Gita or it's only from that? Swami has said in one place, and I'm just paraphrasing and I'm not even quoting him fully, but something to the effect that when you accept Swami as he will, when you develop that nearness in the heart to him, he will give you a customized Gita.
Yes.
Okay, it's like a Gita specific to you. So that's what he says, because he's your Sarathi, or he's the charioteer of your heart and of your life. So from seated in your heart, he will steer you through your life.
Yeah.
And he will give you a customized Gita. So I think I just remembered that. So I just thought I'd share that. Thank you for sharing all that you did. And you are both wonderful young adults. And we are so grateful to Swami that you are in our region and in all our lives. Through all your presence is very valuable and much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shama. If there's nothing else, I think we'll wrap up because we're way past. Thank you. Once again, Geetu auntie. We had Geeta and Geetu on today. And we're very lucky again to have both of you, both Saipriya and Natasha. We are very, very, very proud, and I'm lucky to have known both of you guys. So with that being said, Natasha, if you want to end it, whichever way you want to end it, Navaratri style, do it.
No, that would be very different, but I'll keep it simple. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Saram, everyone.
Sai Ram, everyone.
Saram.
And thank you for letting me say.
Sure.
Sai Ram.
Saram.
Sai Ram.